Hello, Cadre. This is a presentation with I'm not sure exactly what it is. You can see, I can see myself on the screen, but I don't know whether you can or not. This is about change typologies, a very brief presentation on the basic categories of change models. A typology is a set or a subset, and there are basically three subsets of change models out there that you can classify or place all the change models into. You don't very often see these terms out in the literature, but they are the three typologies. One is called the diffusion model, one is called the mandate model, and one I simply call the effectiveness model. When you basically begin to look at the three typologies, they fit into those three: diffusion, mandate, and effectiveness. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First of all, there's a distinction between those that begin kind of from the inside out versus the outside in. In a diffusion model, which is a science term, has to do with the concentration of particles in one area, and as they diffuse out into another area, basically they simply spread themselves out. And so one model of change is called the diffusion model, which means it just simply goes from one level to the next almost automatically. The scientific principle of that is particles in greater concentration will move to an area of lesser concentration almost naturally without anything happening to them. So that's the way it spreads, by diffusion, by simply affecting and getting larger and larger in terms of its impact. Versus the mandate model that basically comes from the outside in. I'll talk about it in a minute. When you look at the diffusion model, what it basically says is that you have to develop this concentration in order for it then to spread to the next stage. So when you do diffusion, you basically spend a lot of time at the beginning talking about the need for the change, so that you build a high enough level of awareness of the need for the change that it begins to change people's attitudes. Politicians basically do this when they repeat things over and over and over again, trying to create the awareness of a need so that attitudes begin to change around it. But then you have to do the same thing with attitudes. Build a concentration of attitudes to a level that it begins to spread, and then it begins to affect people's beliefs. Do the same thing with beliefs. Concentrate enough of that in the belief statement so that it then begins to change values, because then when you get that concentration at the values level, it begins to affect behavior. The issue with diffusion models is it takes a long time to build that concentration at each level so that awareness moves into changing attitudes, attitudes moves into changing beliefs, beliefs end up changing values, and then ultimately changing behavior. As opposed to a mandate model, which begins with the behavior. It doesn't have anything to do with diffusion. It simply says, beginning now, you're going to start behaving differently. And when people start behaving differently, their value systems come into question. In other words, why am I doing this? What's this all about? What's it for? Why are we changing? That kind of thing. And when the value question begins to be answered, then people's beliefs, this is good. This works for English language learners. This is a better way to teach reading, on and on and on. And then attitudes begin to change, and awareness like, aha, this is what it's all about. I understand this now. The problem with mandate models is it's a force model, comes from the outside, typically doesn't try to acknowledge anything in the way of awareness, attitudes, beliefs, or values. Just says, beginning now, you're going to do something entirely different. What basically the models, when you look at them together, and I put them into this effective change model, if you use the awareness model, let's just put it into practical terms. Let's say your January or New Year's resolution is getting more physically fit and healthy. So you begin to read a lot of stuff, building the awareness of the need to do that, the benefits of it, the kind of things that you need to do, how you're going to feel, how you're going to think differently, and so forth, because then your attitude starts to change. All right, this would be a good idea for me to do, and you keep working on the attitude side to the belief side that says, I really need to do this. I'd live longer, I'd be happier. Values, again, would begin to be affected, and then once the values are affected, behavior is affected. Problem is that takes a long time, and any New Year's resolutions based upon a diffusion model typically, I guess you could use the term flame out very quickly. They don't have a very long shelf life, because getting from one stage to the next just takes a heck of a lot of effort and a lot of time, so that the diffusion of awareness to attitudes to beliefs to values and behaviors takes place. On the other hand, you want to become more physically fit, so the morning of the 1st of January, you get up, put on your tennis shoes, get outside, dress warmly, and you start walking. You get back in from walking, you eat a more nutritious breakfast, more balanced breakfast than you did, and so you start behaving in ways that match the resolution to get more physically fit and to get more healthy. When you're out there walking that first morning, you're likely to, and if you haven't done that for a while, you're likely to say, why am I doing this? What's this all about? Well, your mind is starting to say, you'll feel better, you'll look better, you'll have a better attitude about things, and eventually then your values change to say, well, this is good because I've been out here now for an entire week. I actually do feel better. I feel more energy. I tend to focus a little bit better. When I work out, I do eat better. Values then start to change the beliefs, and you say, well, this is good for me. This has been a good thing. I wish I'd have done this a long time ago. Attitude would be, yes, fitness and health are very important. Awareness of, why didn't I do this a long time ago? And so that can be very quick. That can be almost instantaneous. In fact, that's the way that most equity issues are resolved, by either the court mandating or Congress or the legislature mandating something. They usually don't go into a lot of discussion about awareness. It just simply says, beginning such and such a time, you will do this. The IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, was an exact example of the mandate model. We knew for years and years and years there were lots of kids, about 10% of the school-age population was being kept at home because they had all kinds of different disabilities and what were called handicapping conditions, like Down syndrome. Simply kept out of school because they didn't feel they could learn. It wasn't an appropriate place for them to be. The likelihood of them going on to college or into the world of work or workforce was not likely, so they were kept at home. Well, in 1974, Congress passed a law that says you will educate them in the public schools, you will put them in the mainstream, you will write an IEP for them that'll have learning goals in it, and those learning goals will include not only educational goals, but career goals, self-help goals, taking care of yourself, doing things like counting change, getting on a bus and reading a bus schedule, and that kind of thing. And so while we were doing the mandate of educating those kids, we were basically saying, why are we doing this? These kids used to be, educated somewhere else in another kind of school. But people would say, yes, but isn't it time we brought them into the regular school environment? They could get some things out of it. Eventually, beliefs and attitudes and awareness change, and kids with disabilities are simply as common in school as any other kind of kid. We could have waited forever for the awareness of the need to educate those kids in our schools to eventually be behavior. It never would have happened had it not been for the mandate. So then you go back to the notion of the effectiveness model, and what it basically is based on, the principle of change theory, that it's easier to behave your way into a new way of thinking than it is to think your way into a new way of behaving. So if we were in our conversation in cadre, we'd be having a conversation about, so what does this mean? When you have you're meeting with your faculty, or you're in charge of your team and you're directing them somewhere and you want them to begin to do X, how do you begin to use this model of behaving your way into a new way of thinking at the same time you're thinking your way into a new way of behaving? Here's what it basically looks like. The diffusion model and the mandate model coming together in the effectiveness model. And so we're back to this, which means if you really want to affect change, it's probably best that your strategy include both immediate behavior that goes through behavior, values, beliefs, attitudes, and awareness, and awareness, attitudes, beliefs, values, and behaviors, so that they'll meet as they continue to go around that circle or around the outside of the square. So immediately, if I'm going to introduce PLCs to the faculty, we're going to start doing PLCs. And at the same time, we're going to have lots of conversation about why we're doing this, what's the need for it, what should be our attitudes about it, and so forth, so that that diffusion side is matching up and following along with the mandate side. Here's another way to look at it. I think a systems model would probably be the easiest way to look at this, in that you have this constant swirling and going back and forth in this infinite circle, with the idea that it's the values piece that is the crux of both sides of it. In other words, if you want to change behavior, you got to go through, eventually, you got to go through the values piece. But you get there by starting with the behavior, the values, the beliefs, the attitudes, the awareness, and come back. Or you start with the awareness, the attitudes, the beliefs, the behavior, back to the values. In other words, values determine whether or not the behavior is going to become part of what it is that you do. Well, those are the change typologies. All changes fit into either the diffusion model, which you try to go through this awareness, ultimately getting to the action stage, or you start with the action, getting to the awareness stage, or a combination of both.